friend wisely nowadays, because people will betray you and turn against you. And to turn them down, even though I'm going through something, I'm going to listen to them, because relationships, I trusted people too much. And, even with a man, I wanted to be accepted, and I kept giving people chances. You can only give so many people so many chances, to the point that, hey, you'll lose yourself. Good evening, how my beautiful queens and house of kings doing? Welcome back to another day, a new video. How you all doing? This will be kind of like a different video. This is start the first of my series. It's just like a little chit chat video. I'm going to be speaking from my heart, and I just wanted to welcome to the first episode of Coffee and Confessions. Okay, so I know oftentimes I was just sitting here thinking back, like when it come down to losing people, like toxic relationships or friendships. One thing I'm learning at the age of 41 now is that God is really showing me who's really for me, who's not. I know oftentimes as I look back over my life, I always wanted to be accepted by people. And what I'm learning every day is that, sometimes people come and go in your life. I'm learning that people can only be in your life for a season. I really, truly believe that speech is that when the weather changes, that means it's time to move on. And, eventually you're going to get prepared for, whatever season it in. That's how I feel like, it is when it comes down to people. I noticed a couple years ago, I was like in my early 20s, I want to say, there was a young lady that I used to hang out with. I met her on the job, she was a co-worker, and I know it's really not good to befriend co-workers and stuff like that. I know that's not really a good sign, but overall, you have to start somewhere to meet someone. But I'm not saying that was the right choice to make at that time. Like I say, she was a very sweet person, but just really find her out, later on, it really started me thinking like, hey, you have to really choose people that you call a friend wisely nowadays, because people will betray you and turn against you. This young lady at that time, she was probably like in her early 40s. At that time, I was like in my early 20s, like mid 20s. I was like probably like 26, 27 at that time. And my thing is, if someone calling you names because you don't do things they do, like I didn't really know that she was kind of more like a woman that was like really out there, like in the streets, more street smart. And see, me at that time, like I say, I'm still pretty young, so I really don't know much about the streets, because I felt like even growing up as a teenager, I ain't gonna say I was sheltered, but I really didn't know much about street life. Like I was more book smart than street smart, And so me, as I got older, it's like I'm starting to learn about people, and, just figuring this out. Like I said, I wasn't, taught these things, what to look out for when it come down to, people in general. And so she would call me names like the square, because she smoked and drank. Like I didn't smoke at all. Like I never smoked to this day. Like I never smoked cigarettes or weed and nothing like that. And there's nothing, no shade. I'm not, shaming nobody that do, to each his own. It wasn't my thing. I can't stand the smell of cigarette smoke. And definitely can't smell the scent of weed. Like I don't really like to be around people that be, it just something about that smell. It does something to me. And then the thing is, I didn't smoke, and she, called me a square. And even at that time, like even with drinking, like I ain't gonna say that I'm not, because every blue moon, y'all know, even now, I'm not really a drinker. I drink every blue moon. Like I normally might have a drink when it's like a special occasion, or if it's a day, like if it's a rough day, like y'all know me, y'all know, like every now and then I get out with the ladies now. It'd be like if we had a rough, long work week or something like that, and I just, hey, I'm ready for a drink. That's different. But just being a person that drink every single day alcohol, I don't do that. That's just not my thing. And so she really made me feel uncomfortable, the young lady at that time, because I didn't do a lot of things she did. She would come, she would talk bad about me to her relatives. Oh, so it's like God was really showing me things, little small signs. But see, me at that time being young, it kind of take me back to when I was um in high school, in middle school. I always wanted to be accepted by people. I wanted to fit in. And I know that's definitely not a good sign, to want to be accepted by people. So over the last couple of years, he have really taught me that you have to really learn and let people go. If a person can't accept you for who you are, you have to pretend to be something that you're not, just to be close to a person. Those not the people you really need to hang out with. And now in this day and time, now as I'm looking back, I'm glad that he kind of removed certain people out of my life, because you hear so much going on now in this day and time, how people think they have friends, and those same type of friends either setting them up, and just something could be worse. Like, you can't really trust people. And I think that's another thing now at 41, like when it come down to my trust levels. When it comes down to my trust levels of me trusting people, I'm very, very cautious of who I allow in my life now. And I take trust wisely. Like, I have to really I have to really get to know your character to just really open up and start really, trusting you like that. Because I'm learning every day that when people show you your true colors, that's one thing I miss about Maya Angelou. May she continue to rest in peace. One of my favorite poets of all time. She said, when people show you their true colors, believe them. And see, me, it was hard for me to believe, at that time, with the friendship, wanting to be accepted, like I say, and, even with relationships, I trusted people too much. And even with a man, I wanted to be accepted, and I kept giving people chances. You can only give so many people so many chances, to the point that, hey, you'll lose yourself. People pleasing and constantly keep saying yes, yes, when the person really showing you that they really not for you, it'll start making you feel bad about yourself, or it'll make you start thinking otherwise. And that's where I failed at, and a point in my life, like, I'm just study trusting these people, wanting them to accept me for who I am, but they really showing me that they're not for me. But me, quote unquote, want to be, want friendships and all that. So I'm learning now that you have to be okay with being sometimes alone. And I just feel like, even if it's meant for you to, have a good friend in your life, a friendship, or, even with a relationship. But I get more into the relationship part. Maybe in another video. I know I did mention toxic friendships or relationships, but we'll probably cover the relationship part in part 2. But yeah, you just really have to you have to choose the word friendship. Why is I'm tongue twisting? You really have to choose the word friendship or friends wisely these days. You got to know who's really a friend and who's not. Because like I say, you can call anybody a friend, but you got the person to show you. Now, to me, a real friend will be there for you through thick and thin. A friend will be there with you through the good times as well as the bad times. And another thing I learned is you can't open up to people about a lot of personal things in your life when you're going through a storm. And I opened up to this young lady and started venting, because at that time, like I said, I thought I could trust her. She bust out one day when we was leaving the mall or something. It was something I was saying to her. I don't really remember, because it's been so long ago. I just never said nothing, but I'm tired of hearing about your problems. I got my own problems. I'm tired of hearing about your problems. So that let me know right there that really wasn't a friend for me. And I should have been cut her loose. She called herself, unfollowed me on Facebook. We were Facebook friends at that time. I don't really get into Facebook, right? I don't really do the Facebook thing now in this time. But that just let me know she wasn't really real. Like I say, I don't know what started making her change like that, but she just really wasn't the person that I should have been hanging out with. And then at that time, I was talking to my great grandmother, so I knew there's one person I really missed today, because when I needed some advice, I can call on her. Like, she didn't down me, she didn't You know, she always had an ear to hear. You know, my great grandmother, may she continue to rest in peace. But she asked me, she told me, she said, why is you hanging? Because I was telling her about how this woman was. And she said, why is you hanging around somebody like that? You and her are totally two different people. You don't, it's basically to me like when you trying to mix, even with food for like alcohol, I'm going to say for instance. Like you can't mix a light liquor with a dark liquor. It's just not going to go. I don't care how much you like both alcohol, you like Hennessy and vodka, you just cannot mix the two together. It won't be right. And that's how I felt when it came down to our friendship, so-called friendship, that it wasn't right. Like, she really showed me who she really was. And when she said that she never wanted to hear my problems, that let me know right there I should have been cut her off. And I just felt like God really made a way where he kind of slowly removed me from, you know, her out of my life. And that's one thing I say, is that as people, we really have to really choose wisely of the people that we allow in our life. You know, people who we call friends, because everybody that you might call a friend or say a friend, they might not really be a friend. You just never know how people might feel about you. And sometimes I know we all need people we can talk to. Like, you really have to be careful. Like, you have to make sure if this person really have a shoulder, like somebody. I just feel like a real friend is somebody that, like I said, when you need somebody to talk to, or call on, or you just need to get something off your chest, you know. And if that person really listening to you and they giving you constructive criticism or giving you advice, then you know that it's going to be okay and don't give up, that's a real friend. When a friend that's feeding you good energy, even though you're going through a storm, and even if they might be dealing with something, but even while they in their storm, they still encouraging you not to give up on yourself, that's a real friend. But when you have a person that busts out and say, hey, I got my problems of my own, I just feel like that's just not a real friend. That's just me personally, because it been times where people open up to me about a lot of, you know, personal things. I'm not finna turn them down, even though I'm going through something. I'm gonna listen to them, because that's what a friend do. And if, you know, if I'm gonna call myself a real friend, which I know I'm a real friend to those that know me in this day and time, they know they can call on me, we can talk. You know, I mean, it been times, even if you could tell that you got a person that's real close or good friend, you could be on the phone for hours. Like one of my friend girls right today that I talked to, y'all seen them in a lot of my videos. Me and her would talk on the phone for about 2-3 hours, like just be talking about old stuff, or talking about the good old days, or sometimes we reflect back on places we went to. That's a friend right there. She even checked on me one time when I wasn't feeling so well one day when I came, you know, at work or whatever. She knew it wasn't me, because most people know that if I'm not smiling or my spirit low, they know something up. Because overall, even though if I'm going through something, you really will never know, because when I'm coming to work on, hey. But this particular day, I wasn't doing that. I wasn't smiling. And, you know, she called, she reached back out to me, just checking on me. That's a real friend. You know, so I just try to use the word friend lightly. I really know who's really real, who's for me, and who's not. Like I say, a person just really show you better than they can tell you. So that's why I say when a person show you their true colors, believe them. That saying, that speech is really so true. Like, you just really have to believe people. And you also, I mean, you really have to believe what they showing you, because actions speak louder than words. Actions, of way a person actions is towards you, it will speak for itself. So most times they might not always speak on certain things or say certain things to you, but the way they acting towards you will show you, you know, who they really are. So I just encourage anybody, choose your friends wisely. Just choose your friends wisely. Be mindful of who you call a friend. Make sure, I don't care if you've been knowing a person 10 plus 14 years, because you got people nowadays been knowing a person 20 plus years and really don't know them. And sometimes these people been jealous and envy, and then, you know, they might betray them and stuff. So be careful who you call a friend. You know, I remember I wrote a poem a couple years ago, and I said, be careful who you tell your secrets to, because not everybody is rooting for you. A long-term friendship become a friend become a lifetime enemy. Just because they smiled, just because they what's the speech? I can't. I wrote. I did. I used to love to write poetry. Just because I can't even get the other there. I'm trying to say, but you just really have to be careful who you call a friend. Use the word lightly, and if a person's showing you that they're really for you, and you know after a certain length of time, then hey, that probably really is a friend. But when the person starts showing you the other side of them and saying that you think you better than this, I never said nothing to you, you think you all this and that because you got a new car, new house, and you've changed and you did this and that's not a friend. Because a friend gonna be happy for you whatever. If you just bought, like I said, if you just bought a new house, you just started a new business, new brand. If they're not showing up for you with your business and your brand, if this person not really showing you that they really there for you and they not celebrating your wins, that's not a friend. I'm sorry to say. If the person don't support you, support your business or your brand, and they're not clapping for you, that's not a friend. So yeah, until the next time, you all. This marks the first episode of my new series on my channel called Coffee and Confessions. Until the next time, I'll be talking to you in the next video. You all have a great day. Bye bye. Love you all.